In AI search, authority beats optimization. Let that land for a second. We've spent the last decade playing a game called SEO, optimizing title tags, building backlinks, chasing keyword rankings on page 1 of Google. And it worked until it didn't, because right now, in April 2026, the most important discovery channel for your personal brand isn't Google's page 1. It's the answer that ChatGPT gives when someone in your target audience types in a question you should be known for. And here's the brutal truth about that answer: you're either in it or you're invisible. There is no page 2 in AI search. There's no position 11 that still gets traffic. There is cited or not cited. So the question I'm exploring with you today is, how do personal brands get cited? How do you engineer your authority so that AI systems reach for you, not your competitor, when someone asks the exact question you've built your expertise around? I'm going to give you the full framework. 4 pillars: real data, and a 90-day plan you can start executing this week. Let's get into it. Before we get into the framework, I want to give you the lay of the land, because I think most people still don't understand how dramatic this shift has been and how fast it happened. Let me throw some numbers at you. ChatGPT now has over 900 million weekly active users as of early 2026, up from 100 million just over 2 years ago. That is not a niche tool anymore. That is a mainstream behavior. Nearly a billion people a week are asking AI a question instead of Googling it. And ChatGPT alone processes 2 billion queries a day. But here's the stat that should stop you in your tracks if you're a content creator, consultant, coach, or thought leader. AI search traffic converts at 14.2% compared to Google Organics 2.8%, a 5x conversion premium. 5 times. People who find you through an AI citation are 5 times more likely to convert than someone who finds you through a traditional search result. And Ahrefs found an even more extreme example. They tracked a 23x higher sign-up rate from AI-referred visitors versus organic. So let me frame this simply. The channel with the lowest traffic is producing the highest quality leads. That's the definition of a channel you should be engineering for right now before everyone else figures this out. But here's the other side of this. Because it's not just about opportunity, it's also about urgency. 93% of AI mode searches end without a click. Google AI overviews now appear in 25% of all searches. If your brand is not being cited inside AI generated answers, you don't just miss the click, you don't exist in that decision at all. The user gets an answer, they trust it, they move on. Your competitor who is cited in that answer just got a credibility boost without you even knowing. There's one more data point I want to hit before we move on, because it captures the entire challenge in one number. Only 30% of brands stay visible from one AI response to the next for the same query. Brand visibility in AI search is unstable and actively contested. Visibility in AI search is not a ranking you hold, it's a position you continuously earn. And the brands that are building structural authority, not just content, are the ones maintaining consistent presence. Which brings us to the core problem with how most personal brands approach this. Why traditional SEO is no longer enough. Here's a belief I want to challenge today. The idea that if you just do good SEO, if you optimize your site, build your backlinks, publish consistently, AI will find you and reward you. It's not entirely wrong, but it's dangerously incomplete. Here's the thing about how AI search actually works. In traditional SEO, 10 URLs compete for 10 slots on a results page. In AI search specifically, what we now call Generative Engine Optimization, or GO1 AI system, generates one synthesized answer and cites 3 to 8 sources. There is no position 11. You're either a source or your background noise. Around 80% of URLs cited in AI answers do not rank in Google's top 100 results for the same query. Read that again. 80% of the sources that AI systems cite don't rank on Google for the same query, which means you can have a perfect SEO strategy and still be invisible in AI search. And conversely, you could be cited in AI answers even if you're not crushing traditional rankings if you build the right kind of authority. So, what kind of authority does AI actually trust? It comes down to EAT: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Google originally built this framework to guide human quality raters, but in 2026, it's become the architecture that AI systems use to evaluate sources. Every single AI platform, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google AI Mode, Gemini is in different ways asking the same question when it decides who to cite. Is this person or this brand genuinely authoritative on this topic? And can we verify that authority through the broader web? Notice the verify through the broader web part. That's the piece that changes everything for personal brands. Because your authority can't just live on your own website. AI systems don't primarily look at what you say about yourself. They look at what the rest of the internet says about you. That's the shift. And that's the entire premise of authority engineering. Alright, let's get into the four pillars. And I'm going to give you the deep dive on each one. Pillar 1: Expertise signals. This is about making AI systems recognize that you have genuine, verifiable depth of knowledge in your domain, not just surface level familiarity, but the kind of expertise that gets cited. Let me tell you what AI actually rewards and what it ignores. AI systems favor what researchers call structured claims over vague authority statements. What does that mean? Compare these two phrases. I'm a passionate leadership coach dedicated to helping executives achieve their goals. Versus, I've coached 200 plus C suite executives at Fortune 500 companies across 12 industries over 15 years with a focus on the first 90 days of leadership transitions. The first sentence is invisible to AI. The second is highly citable. It contains specific numbers, a clear domain, a credential context, and a named expertise. AI systems can extract and verify that. They can attribute it, they can cite it. Content with statistical citations is up to 40% more likely to be cited by generative AI than content without specific data points. This is why data matters. Not just stats from other sources, but your own original data, your own proprietary insights, your own research. Here's the expertise signal playbook. One, name your frameworks. If you have a method, a process, a system, give it a name. The rapid decision protocol. The three-layer authority stack. Whatever it is. Named frameworks become distinct entities that AI can attribute back to you. Generic advice disappears into the training data. 2, publish original research. Survey your audience. Analyze your client data. Report the numbers. We surveyed 500 founders and found is infinitely more citable than many entrepreneurs struggle with. AI systems treat first party research as a high authority signal. 3, write long form structured content. Here's a data point that surprised me. Articles over 900 words are 59% more likely to be cited by ChatGPT than articles under 800 words. Depth signals expertise. A 600-word blog post shows surface knowledge. A 3-0-word deep dive on a specific topic within your niche shows mastery. And AI systems are trained to recognize the difference. 4, structure your content with clear section headings around the exact questions your audience is asking. AI doesn't read the way humans do. It extracts, it looks for the cleanest, most structured answer to a specific question. So if your content is organized in a way that makes that extraction easy, you have a citation advantage. Moving on to pillar 2. Why showing up repeatedly is now a citation signal. Pillar 2 is about consistency, and I want to reframe this concept completely for you. Because when most people hear be consistent, they think it means posting more often on social media. That's not what I mean. I mean consistency as a trust signal, specifically for AI systems. Let me explain. AI systems, whether they're using real-time retrieval like Perplexity does, or training data citations like older ChatGPT models, use both reward what I'd call corpus frequency. How often does your name your brand, your specific perspective appear across the web. The more frequently and consistently your expertise shows up across your own site, third party publications, social platforms, podcasts, Reddit threads, Quora answers, the stronger the signal that you are a reliable, recurring authority in your space. Think about it this way: Simon Sinek has millions of web mentions. A mid career leadership consultant might have 2,000. That's a 5,000 times gap in corpus frequency. And AI systems weight that gap heavily when deciding whose perspective to surface. Now, I'm not saying you need to be Simon Sinek to get cited, but I'm saying that consistency of output is one of the most controllable levers you have for building that frequency signal. Here's the data on content freshness, and this should reset your entire content calendar. Pages not updated quarterly are 3x more likely to lose AI citations. Pages updated within 60 days are 1.9x more likely to appear in AI answers. This is a huge deal. AI search systems treat content freshness as a proxy for trustworthiness. A page that was last updated in 2023 signals that the information might be stale. A page updated this month signals that the author is actively engaged with their subject matter. It signals ongoing expertise, not archived expertise. There is a second dimension to consistency that most people overlook: message consistency. Your core brand message, the thing you stand for, the specific perspective you bring, the unique framing of your expertise needs to be consistent across every platform where AI systems might encounter you. Why? Because AI systems are pattern matching. They are trying to build a coherent model of what you represent. If your LinkedIn says you're an AI strategy consultant, your website says you're a digital transformation expert, your podcast bio says future of work thought leader, and your Medium articles are about leadership coaching, that inconsistency diffuses your authority signal. But if every surface, your site, your social profiles, your guest bylines, your podcast appearances consistently says the same thing about who you are and what you're an authority on, AI can build a coherent, reliable model of your expertise. And coherent models get cited. Only 30% of brands remain visible across consecutive AI responses for the same query. Fresh, consistently updated content is the one predictor of citation stability. Consistency isn't a posting schedule, it's an architecture decision. It's deciding what is the thing I want to own, and then showing up on that topic with that framing across every channel, every quarter, every year, until AI systems can't answer a question in your niche without reaching for you. Pillar 3: the story AI systems tell about you. Pillar 3 is what I call narrative authority, and this is the most underappreciated dimension of how personal brands show up in AI search. Here's a concept I want you to sit with. AI systems don't just retrieve information about you, they construct a narrative about you based on everything they've encountered across the web: your content, other people's content about you, how you're described in third party sources, the context in which your name appears. AI builds a model of who you are, what you're known for, and whether you're trustworthy. And here's the thing: you have more ability to shape that narrative than most people realize. But you have to be intentional about it. Let me give you a framework for thinking about narrative authority. It has three components. Component 1: category ownership. The most suitable brands in any space are those that own a category definition. Not just people who talk about a topic, but the person AI associates with defining the terms of the conversation. Think about it. When someone asks an AI system, what is generative engine optimization? There are a small number of sources that get cited as definitional authorities. Those sources didn't get there by accident. They published the first, most comprehensive, most widely referenced definitions of that concept. They put a flag in the ground and said, "This is my territory." As a personal brand, the question you need to ask is, what is the specific concept, methodology, or problem space that I want to own? And then, have I published the definitive guide to that thing? If the answer is no, that's your most important content priority. Component 2. Perspective differentiation. AI systems summarize what's already known, but they cite what's original. AI summarizes consensus content. It cites content that breaks consensus original data, a named expert's hard-won perspective, a counterintuitive finding. This is a key insight. If your content just recycles what's already out there, even if it's well written and well optimized, it adds nothing to the AI's model. It's background noise. But if your content contains a perspective that AI hasn't encountered elsewhere, a genuine point of view, original research, a counterintuitive conclusion backed by real evidence, it becomes something AI can uniquely attribute to you. So, my challenge for you: what is the contrarian take in your space that you actually believe and can defend with evidence? That is your narrative authority anchor. That's the perspective that when an AI system surfaces your name, it says, this person believes X, and here's why that matters. Component 3. Story credibility. The third component is about the human story behind your expertise. And this is particularly important because of something fascinating that's happening right now. First, person founder stories. Real case studies with specific numbers and expert opinion backed by lived experience are performing at levels no AI tool can currently replicate and are the most cited content by AI systems. Human experience, real, specific, verifiable, first person experience is exactly what AI systems are built to cite because it's exactly what AI systems cannot generate. When you write, in my 12 years running marketing for SaaS companies, I've seen that. And then back that up with specific results, specific decisions, specific failures, you're creating content that AI has a structural reason to cite over anything it could have generated itself. Your lived experience is a competitive moat in an AI generated content world. Use it. Pillar 4. How the rest of the internet vouches for you. Pillar 4 is the one most personal brands neglect completely, and it might be the most important one. Off-site authority building. How you show up on the rest of the internet, not just your own platform. Here's the core insight. AI systems don't primarily evaluate your authority based on what you say about yourself on your own website. They evaluate your authority based on how other trusted sources on the web describe and reference you. 85% of brand mentions that influence AI citations originate from third party pages, not owned domains. Brands are 6.5x more likely to be cited through third party sources than their own domains. 6.5 times. The external internet vouches for you 6.5 times more effectively than your own website can. So the question is, how do you build that external authority systematically? Let me give you the specific plays. Play 1. Community platform presence. Reddit. Quora. I know Reddit and Quora feel very 2012. But listen to this. Domains with millions of brand mentions on Quora and Reddit have roughly 4x higher chances of being cited by ChatGPT than those with minimal activity. Why? Because Reddit and Quora are among the most cited sources in AI answers. YouTube, Wikipedia, Reddit, Quora, those are the top citation sources across ChatGPT and Google AI overviews. If your expertise shows up naturally in those conversations as genuine answers to genuine questions, you're building citation currency on the platforms AI already trusts most. Play 2. Digital PR and earned media. Every press placement, every podcast guest appearance, every expert quote in an industry publication, every media mention, these are EAT signals. They're the digital equivalent of professional references, and AI systems treat them as credibility validation. There's research showing that distributing content to a wide range of publications can increase AI citations by up to 325% compared to only publishing on your own site. 325%. Distributing content to a wide range of publications can increase AI citations by up to 325% compared to only publishing content on your own site. This is why founder-led PR has become one of the highest ROI activities in a personal brand strategy. When you're quoted as an expert in TechCrunch, interviewed on a top ranking podcast in your niche, or featured in an industry report, you're building the off-site authority signal that makes AI systems trust you as a source. Play 3: Wikipedia, LinkedIn, G2, and professional directories. If you haven't audited your presence on the professional platforms, AI systems, check for verification, do it this week. Websites with profiles on platforms like Trustpilot, G2, Capterra, LinkedIn, and Wikipedia have 3 times higher chances of being cited by ChatGPT than brands without. And LinkedIn specifically is one of the most powerful underused authority signals for personal brands. When you publish consistently on LinkedIn, especially long form content with original perspective and specific data, you're publishing on a platform that AI systems actively index as a source of professional authority. Play 4: Co-citation without links. Here's a subtle but important one. AI systems track brand mentions even without clickable backlinks. When your name or brand appears alongside established authorities in an article, even if there's no link, AI maps that co occurrence as a credibility signal. Being mentioned in the same breath as respected voices in your field builds what researchers call entity authority. So, actively seek out opportunities to be quoted alongside, compared to, or referenced alongside credible voices in your space. Guest post, expert roundups, collaborative research. These aren't just networking tactics, they're authority signals. AI citation patterns, once established, reinforce across future queries. Organizations implementing geo strategies early are establishing authority before competitive saturation industry. Analysis suggests dominant citation positions will calcify around early adopters by mid 2026. The playbook, your 90-day authority plan. Alright, you've got the framework, 4 pillars: expertise signals, consistency as a trust engine, narrative authority, and offsite authority building. Now let's make this real. Here's your 90-day authority engineering plan. I am breaking it into 3 30-day blocks. Days 1 to 30. Audit and foundation first. Go audit what AI says about you right now. Go to ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google AI mode. Ask the exact questions your clients and audience are asking when they're looking for someone with your expertise. Do you show up? Do you show up accurately? This is your baseline. Second, standardize your authority statement. Develop one clear, specific, credential rich description of your expertise and deploy it consistently across every platform: LinkedIn bio, website, about page, podcast, guest intro, Twitter header, everywhere. Third, audit your content freshness. Identify your top 10 most important pages and articles. When were they last updated? Anything more than 90 days old, schedule a refresh. Days 31 to 60. Content and credential building week 5 through 8. Focus on original content creation. Specifically, publish one long form piece of 500 plus words that definitively covers the topic you want to own. Include original data or original analysis. Name the frameworks within it. Structure it with clear H2 headings that match the questions people are asking AI. This is your authority anchor content. The piece you'll be driving traffic to, syndicating, quoting from, and updating for the next year. Also, in this phase, start answering questions on Reddit and Quora. Not promotional answers, genuinely helpful. Expertise, demonstrating answers to the questions in your domain. 20 high quality Quora answers over 30 days will do more for your AI citation probability than most content strategies. Days 61 to 90, external authority blitz. The final 30 days are about getting external validation. Pitch 3 to 5 podcast interviews in your niche. Write 2 to 3 guest posts for publications your audience reads. Submit for 1 or 2 expert roundups or industry reports. The goal is simple. By day 90, when an AI system crawls the web looking for authoritative voices in your niche, Your name should be appearing not just on your own platform, but across a network of credible third party sources that independently validate your expertise. Only 16% of Fortune 500 brands even track AI search performance. For personal brands, the adoption gap is even larger, giving early movers a significant structural advantage. 84% of your competition is not doing this yet. The window for first mover advantage in AI search visibility is real, and according to the data, it won't stay open much longer. The citation patterns are beginning to calcify around early movers. You want to be one of them. Let me leave you with this. We are living through the most significant shift in how expertise gets discovered and rewarded in the history of the internet. The question isn't whether AI search will matter for your personal brand. According to every piece of data I've shared today, it already does, and it's accelerating. The question is whether you'll be visible when it counts. Optimization gets you ranked. Authority gets you cited. And in the AI search era, being cited is worth more than ranking. Authority isn't mysterious, it's engineered. It's built deliberately, systematically, through consistent expertise signals, narrative clarity, and a network of external sources that vouches for your credibility. It takes time, it takes patience. But unlike algorithmic rankings that can disappear overnight, structural authority compounds. The more you build, the more AI systems reach for you, and the harder it becomes for competitors to displace you. So, go audit what AI says about you today. Build your authority, anchor content. Start showing up in the external platforms that AI trusts. And commit, genuinely commit to being the clearest, most specific, most credible voice in your niche. Because in AI search, authority beats optimization every time. Thanks for listening to Authority Engineering. If this episode shifted your perspective, share it with one person in your network who's building a personal brand right now. That's how this show grows, and it's the most powerful thing you can do to support independent creator content. I'll see you in the next one.